Nyajong.
Welcome to the
Vangs. I'm Tanaya.
And I'm Peter.
And we have some special news. We are, bam! We're engaged. I'm sorry, no, let's do it again.
Okay.
And we are, boom, married.
Nice.
Yay! Can you stop? So we got married on Saturday, October 10th.
And today is Monday.
So it's been 2 days.
Yeah. And, yeah, man, it's been a roller coaster, man. Like,
For what has been a roller coaster?
I guess I've been getting it easy. We've been trying to relax for like the past 2 days. Yesterday we didn't really get a chance to relax like that.
Oh yeah, because we had our reservations at 4, and then we had to go to the church. Let's just start from the beginning.
Okay.
So many of you know that we were engaged. We've been engaged since last August, but we've been together
For 7 years.
for 7 years. Yeah. All right. It is a long time. Our wedding was on Saturday. We had it at our church, which is also my dad's church, which
Yep.
is new.
Well, one of the perks of tying the knot with the pastor's daughter, you get a free church.
And they officiated our wedding, which was like super cool, super dope.
Yeah.
We
we got a free church.
my mom. You just said that. My stepmom and my dad officiated our wedding. We had 7 bridesmaids and 7 groomsmen who
There was a
were
lot of them.
amazing. They did so good. My girls, oh my gosh. So I'm gonna shout y'all out: Tierra, Mai, Kayla, Maya, Kanang, Tola, and Huni.
I'm just going.
Y'all did your thing. Like, we were there all week since Tuesday trying to set up the church, but we kept having to wait because we didn't have some of the stuff because we didn't know what we wanted the reception room to look like.
Nobody know what they wanted.
And so eventually by about Friday, things were coming together. And I was just exhausted because I had done so many DIY projects by myself.
Yeah.
And so by the time the decorating came, I was like, I'm tapped out of
Hopefully,
ideas.
do we have a picture to show?
Yeah, I'll show a picture on here.
The pictures are going to be here, 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 and here.
Why did you do that?
I always wanted to do that. Tuesday, I came after work to the church, and you guys had like the chapel,
The sanctuary
decorated. And as I was walking in, I kind of see like I see kind of stuff put up. Like, it doesn't hit me, and then I walk into the sanctuary, I look to the right, and like down the aisle is like all white petal flowers and everything. There's a sign that says, "There's
Pick
a picture
a seat,
here,
not
here,
a
here,
side."
and here."
No, there's not that many pictures of one thing.
The picture will be here. I saw it, and I kind of looked down, and all the way at the front of the stage, after the pulpit and everything was moved out, and I saw the curtains or the backdrop, whatever it was. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, oh shit, this is for real. I had cold feet right there. I was like, ooh, I don't know how I'm feeling, yo. I'm like, this ain't even nervous anymore. It was like, I was scared, yo. And I was just kind of walking down the aisle slowly, like, I don't know about this. Because you have been planning this.
Yeah.
I got the easy part. All I had to do was get my tux, look for food, and that was it. That's all I had to do. So,
Yep.
it didn't hit me.
Literally all of his projects I did for him.
Yeah.
Like, he had the idea, but then he'd wait till like the last minute to give me the idea. And then I had to implement it. Like the socks for your groomsmen, the shot glasses for your groomsmen. Man, I've been working my butt off.
Yeah, you the MVP then.
Yay.
So Wednesday I was at work and I was just like, I couldn't even focus.
Hey, we do have more regular coffee. You see it down there?
Wednesday I was freaking out, I couldn't even focus on working, so I had to go downstairs in the stall while I was taking a dump, and I just started praying. I was like, yo, God, you gotta like take this anxiety, I don't know what it was, take everything off, I was in there for like a good 10 minutes just praying. Friday when we did rehearsal was hilarious, by the way.
Oh my gosh, how many times did we practice?
We was trolling
and then It was so funny though because then I didn't want to confuse anybody because people weren't getting the steps down to walk
Yeah.
down the aisle. People were walking too fast. And then I realized that they were lined up wrong. Like my sister Kayla was at the end when she should have been next to my sister Tiara. So I had them flipped. But I realized how confusing it was for the beat part. So I'm like, I'm not going to confuse them again and reorder the line so that it could be
You know
like
what the
it's
funny
supposed
part
to.
was? Nobody was walking on beat, and then your dad finally just came up and said, "So the thing about walking on beat, don't even worry about it. Just walk
Just
out."
walk
And I
slow.
said, "Thank you." Friday though, man, it really hit me, and I actually got really excited on Friday. Like when you and me was on stage and we was just chilling up there, I was like, I ain't even worried anymore. I was like, yeah, like this is about to be fun, yo. Like I got
Yeah.
super excited. And then, like I said, man, rehearsal, I'm still upset because what we rehearsed was not how it planned out day
At the
of.
wedding
Because
day.
we were all supposed to be, we were dancing and everything coming down the aisle, but none of that happened with the
I feel
music.
like the nerves happened or something
Yeah, the
because
nerves
who
definitely
we
happened.
had our greeter, which was my friend Mitch,
Yeah.
lead the parents down the aisle, who was
Yo,
amazing.
Mitch
Everybody
was.
loved Mitch.
Shout out to Mitch. He
Yeah,
was killing it though, man.
he
So
was.
I told him to be himself because he was like, "Can we like dance?" I was like, "Yeah, let's dance or something." So he started busting out moves, and I was like, "Mitch, like please just be yourself." And then he looked at me. He was like, "Is Tanaya okay?" I was like, "It's my wedding too." Like, yeah, it's
He still
okay.
asked my permission.
So then he's like, "I'm gonna ask Tanaya." I was like, "I guess it's her wedding." So then he turns around and asks you, and you're like, "Yeah." And everyone in the room was just like, I was like, "Well,
Did
yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah,
What? They thought I was gonna say no.
yeah," because you're you. But no,
We got the rehearsal, and then I wasn't so much stressed out. I just didn't know what to feel anymore, and I just kind of felt tense. Even though we just had a massage that day, by the way, we got
oh yo,
massages.
we got a full body massage.
For real. And shout out to my bridesmaids that spoiled me and pampered me last week. Like that was amazing. Got my nails done, got me a massage, got my makeup done, everything.
Oh, and my groomsmen. Shout out to the guys. I ain't gonna name all of them because that's too much. But yo, they bought me my tux, my wedding tux. They're like, yo, we want you to remember this day for the rest of your life. So we bought you your tux. And I was at work crying. I'm like, they bought my tux for me. I'm at work crying, trying to cook. I'm like, I don't even care.
The next day happened, and when I woke up, I kid you not, I woke up at 6:30 in the morning. We had to be ready by 2 o'clock so that we could go take pictures at the cathedral in St. Paul.
Yo, pause. Shout out to TK. We'll tag you down below. But yo, I mean, if you're in Minnesota, go check him out, man. Dude's badass. Same thing with our, I guess I would call him my brother. Oh, it is my brother-in-law. Check out my brother-in-law too. He did my hair for our photo shoot, and then TK finished me off on our wedding day.
First of all, before we even could get to the cathedral, they ticked me off. So I'm decked out because the makeup artist wanted to see me in my dress.
Yo, he was
So
on point though.
I was shout out to Diamond. Thank you for doing my makeup. Shout out to Kayla for paying for it. But I was fully decked out and I'm waiting in the hallway. Actually, before that, it was the first look with my dad. And my dad was still showering when it was the first look for us. So I'm waiting there for almost 10 minutes, waiting for my dad to get ready.
That's funny.
The guys, they were supposed to already leave the church to head to the cathedral. But these fools are outside just lollygagging around. And we're like,
No, so to be honest, none of the guys knew what to do, and they all kept looking at me, and I
the
was
only
like,
reason they didn't know what to do is because they threw away their wedding timelines. I printed out, took the courtesy to make and print out wedding timelines so everybody knew where they were supposed to be at what time. 2 o'clock was time for pictures, which meant they had to
no,
leave.
1 o'clock.
No, 2 p.m. was the first look for you and I. 1 o'clock was the first look for me and dad.
Oh, okay.
And it says that in the program. So if they were listening, they would have known that the pictures start at 2 at the cathedral, but they were too busy outside. Now, V, our photographer, shout out to you, V, you did amazing. Melissa, our coordinator, shout out to you. They had to try to get the guys right to leave. And then they realized they don't have none of their flowers. They're boutonnieres. They didn't have
Oh,
them on.
so to be fair, the reason why I couldn't get them was because you was in the room and I couldn't
But
come
when did
in the
y'all
room
finally figure out that you needed them on?
when we was about to leave.
Okay, that's my point.
But
And then I
I
look
couldn't
up
even go in the
and I'm like,
building.
I'm asking the photographer, like, can I leave yet? And they're like, no, the boys had to pee. The boys had to pee? And then I look up, all of a sudden I hear Peter in the back. this is the last time, we promise. We're leaving after this. We promise. And I'm like, if they don't hurry
Yo,
up,
we did not know. They kept looking at me too. Like, what are we doing? I was like, why are you guys looking at me? I don't know.
because they don't listen. And then you had the girls out there helping them put their boutonnieres on because they couldn't figure nothing out.
And then we first we put it on the left, and they're like, no, switch it to the right. So we switched it to the right, and I was like, oh wait, it's supposed to be on the left. So then the girls had to come back out, take the pin out, put the pin, because the guy, we was struggling to get that pin in though. You have no idea how hard it was to put the pin into your tux.
Then we pull up to the cathedral, and the guys are sitting outside in the parking lot hanging by a car.
We didn't know we were supposed to go, so we just stayed in the parking lot.
They stayed in the parking lot of the cathedral. The cathedral is across the street. Instead of just walking across the street, they stayed in the parking lot.
They said go and park. That's what we did.
So they did, and then V, our photographer, took Peter down to the front of the cathedral to the steps for our first look.
The steps were gorgeous, though. Like, they just went all the way up there with the big old doors. Like,
they did. It was perfect. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I'm in the car watching the groomsmen take pictures of themselves because they was looking sharp, I guess. And then I walk up there, and V's like, just walk really slow. Don't rush it, okay?
Oh, you want to hear the story before that?
What?
So I get up there, and V is like, okay, stand right here. I was like, okay. So she's like, whatever you do, do not turn around. She's going to walk up to you, and then I'll instruct you to turn around. So now I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm like, so how long is this going to take? But, we was actually scared to take pictures. Or not scared, but me and V were talking. We were like, man, because the cathedral, there's no shade. All there is sun. That's it. And we were like, oh, V, I hope there's some kind of shade or something. Otherwise, we're not going to get good pictures. And God was definitely, like, he was blessing that day, though, man. Like, everything was just
perfect
on point on that day. So we get there. Me and V look at the stairs, and the sun just happened to be at a perfect angle where the building was covering the shade. And I was like, oh yes, we got shade. And V was like, yay. So as I was just kind of standing there on my phone, because I didn't know what was supposed to happen. And then finally you walked up behind me.
Yeah, and I could see my shadow behind him, and I'm like, I know he could see my shadow. Yeah, because my veil was just blowing in the wind. And he turned around, and he had this, like, it looked so fake, but at first I couldn't tell if you were being genuine, because you're like, and I'm like, is he being fake right now? Being extra?
So I wasn't sure, because V's taking photos. I'm like, so do you want me to go fast? Or
not that part. I'm talking about the way you reacted when you saw me. It looked fake.
So it was to be extra. The first one was extra, and then it turned into something that was for real, because I didn't know you was gonna look that pretty. So in my mind, I was like, yeah, she probably ain't gonna do too much with her makeup, and
No,
I didn't know you was gonna look like that. So when I turned around, I was like, being extra, and then I kind of worked my way up, and I saw her face, and I was like, damn, she is fine as hell.
Are you saying I'm not fine without makeup?
No.
No, what? What are you saying?
You're always fine.
Wow, you sound fake as hell. It was nice, and then we headed back to the church.
The weather was perfect too, because
the thing is, though, well, it was, but then I had ladybugs. They're attracted to tule, and they, but V knew, and they just kept flying inside of my dress and getting caught. And V wanted some candid photos of us walking down Selby in the older part of the neighborhood by Nina's.
Oh,
but we ran out of time.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody was just going slow and taking their time.
Damn.
So we couldn't do those shots, unfortunately. But we head back to the church. It was about 3:00. The ceremony was at 4. And first of all, I want to say this first. When we did this wedding, we had a lot of people on our invite list. But then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we had to make the decision to cut out a lot of people.
We cut out about what? 70%?
More than half. Yeah, we cut out more than half.
We cut out a lot.
And so we had to be super, super, super choosy on who we invited. And even if you weren't invited in person, we made sure that you were invited in Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
But we wanted to make sure we kept room for both so that we could social distance in person, but also have room for people on Zoom. And so the people that came, which was even less than who we invited, we were very grateful for that. But we didn't want anyone to feel like a type of way that if they didn't get invited, but also after a while, we're kind of like, sometimes your feelings are just going to get hurt. Not that it was intentional,
Yeah, I kind of just gave up.
What are you doing, Prince? So
Yeah, so eventually, especially the week of, I was just like, it was like
yeah,
whatever.
because after a while, you know, you can't please everybody, and we kept getting a whole lot of, oh, I want an invite, or
People trying to
what's
invite themselves.
people trying to invite themselves. But we're also having a big party next year, God willing, that this
Yeah,
stuff is over.
yeah, that's gonna be fun though.
Yeah,
Like,
because it was already fun without the party. So instead of a reception, well, we had a reception, but it was more of like a thank you dinner for our wedding party only.
yeah.
So we had our bridesmaids and our groomsmen and the people that helped set up the wedding and the people that were in the wedding in general. And so we had my sister and her fiance. They made these little place cards for everybody, and we had the food that we catered from Unison, who's in St. Paul. It's a Hmong restaurant. And then we had our cake was made by Peter Johnson, his friend Peter Johnson, who's a chef. Um, Shout out to all you guys. The cake turned out amazing, and it was vegan. It was an emotional day.
From 3 to 4,
Yeah.
I did not finish my vows until 3 o'clock. I started the morning of. I got through half of it, and then I had to stop because we got to get going. So I finished my.
We
vows.
ended up in the same room doing our vows.
I was like, I don't even care at this point anymore.
Well, that was the thing. Like, people were like, oh, you didn't finish you guys' vows. And I'm like, pause. I finished mine on Monday. I'm just rewriting them so they look neat. He didn't finish his vows, okay? I was on top of it.
Until 3 o'clock, and the wedding
Ceremony was at 4.
We got vow books, and I wrote, I think I wrote like 2 sentences in, and I was like, man, this is too much writing. Like, I'm going to have to write this later because I had everything on my phone already. I finished it on my phone. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to read it off my phone. And you said you didn't care because,
Yeah.
vows are vows.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. That means my best man doesn't have to worry about handing me my vows.
And he did really good.
Yeah.
Actually, the ceremony went quicker than I expected. And I feel like, because unfortunately I had a migraine all day. And I was trying not to cry as much because crying makes the migraine worse. And then we get to the vow part and I got choked up. And Peter...
Wait, you're skipping a lot.
What did I skip? Besides the fact that the ceremony was starting.
4 o'clock rolls by, and everyone's already coming in. Everybody's trying to say hi to us, and then we're trying to line up to get everything going. And then the music starts going. So then while we rehearse, we start walking down and everything. And when we got on the stage, it was nice because when I got on stage, I turned back around and I looked, and there was a good amount of people. Everyone was social distancing, but it was like a good amount of people in there. I was like, yo, like this is it right here. And your uncle was singing.
My uncle Tyrone.
He sang the
Ribbon in the Sky.
And he killed it though, man.
He did. He did so good.
He performed and he killed it. But he was singing as we was walking down the aisle, and it gets to the part where it's like a pause. And that's when you started coming down.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's funny because as you're walking towards me, I'm like, ooh, like this is getting for real.
Okay, so he's thinking that I was having an outer body experience throughout this whole thing until the vows, because as I'm walking down the aisle, I had to hold my dress because our sanctuary has a little slope. It kind of goes down into the stage, and I didn't want to trip over my dress. So we're walking down, and I dropped my dress because I was holding it. And then as I'm breathing and walking, the air is making the veil stick to my nostrils, so I couldn't breathe. So I kept having to untuck my veil.
That's funny. Well, we didn't notice.
I know. I saw the video. I didn't notice. And so I get to the top, and then I didn't feel like I was actually present until they were like, okay, it's time for the vows. And I'm like, oh. Even for my vows, like I didn't cry, even though my eyes started welling up. And I'm like, either I get the vows out or I cry. I can't do both. Like, I cannot talk and cry at the same time. It's hard.
Yo, I was crying. I didn't even care anymore.
But you can talk and cry clearly because I couldn't even tell you were crying until I looked at your face. So then after the vows, we ended up doing the whole ceremony. We did the sand, and then we did jumping the broom. We did the rings. And then we walked out to Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars, which is a favorite artist. And after that, my tears just came after that. It was a whirlwind. And then I go back there and people got us gifts. I was so surprised. I didn't know people were going to get us gifts.
Yeah. After you walk down the aisle and you go out into the front and you're just sitting there, Yo, it's a lot to keep up, man, because everyone's coming in
trying to hug you
congratulating.
and all this other stuff, and it's
I'm
like,
like, yes, like cool, but man, it's a lot.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember who's who, and like, oh, thank you so much, and I'm just like,
Trying to remember
yo,
who's who. We didn't have that many people. It looked like a lot though.
So we didn't know we were gonna be there, served. Like, the original plan was to have it buffet style.
And I look up my mom. My mom, Kim, Mama K, had switched everything around, and
Everything we had
they
planned.
were serving. My sisters were serving,
Yeah.
and then
Your
they
brother, even
my
your
brother was serving. Melissa was serving. They were
Her fiance.
they bought all
His
these.
fiance.
I said my sisters. They were they had bought little sparkling cider bottles that I didn't know about.
They came out of nowhere.
They came out of nowhere. We had flutes and everything. They switched out all the plastic cutlery
For real
to
glass.
real silverware. They did amazing. Like my heart was so full that day. Like I could not deal. And then we had speeches.
Oh man.
So my sister went first.
So your sister knew about the speech before we got married. I told my best man, I was like, hey, 5 days before the wedding, I was like, hey, by the way, you have to give a speech. And he started freaking out. He's like, wait, what? What? No? I was like, I don't want to give no speech. Your bridesmaid, your maid of honor,
Tiara,
did an amazing
She did good.
job,
She has really
man.
good presence.
She said that,
So after her speech and then after Chewy's speech, who's the best man, those were amazing speeches.
Yo, those two speeches were bomb though.
All of a sudden, everybody else started doing speeches.
Yo, and it just went down the line.
Most of my family gave a speech.
Yeah.
Except for my mom, because she didn't want to cry because she thinks she's a gangster. But she got that one tear that comes like crybaby.
And it goes back up. And
Yeah.
goes back down.
It's the same, and she just recycles the tear. That's how she cries. And no, it was so beautiful. She don't watch our videos.
Okay.
So my heart was already so full.
Your dad gave
And
a
then
speech.
after like the last speech was your mom.
Yeah.
And that was just the icing on the cake. My tears would start flowing after that. Everyone's like, oh, she needed to hear that. And I'm like, no, you guys, it was just the icing on the cake. Like,
Yeah.
it was already the tears were already gonna come. Like that's just how it was working.
I was crying out throughout the whole thing.
I know.
Like I said, I didn't even care.
I know, I was there.
Oh.
And then somebody took my plate of food before I was finished. They said come take a picture by the cake, and so I'm gonna go take a picture by the cake, and I look up, my plate's gone. And we had a reservation at the Nome, which is a restaurant Justin Sutherland had just down the street.
Yeah.
We just wanted a drink, just us two. So we went to the Nome. We had a drink and people were congratulating us because, of course, I'm in my gown. He's in his tux. And then we got some food because your girl was hungry. Since somebody took my plate. They gave us free Prosecco for our wedding day, which is champagne. So we drank some of that. First of all, so if anybody knows, I have a Kia Soul. I had to fit my dress into my Kia Soul and drive because Peter couldn't drive. My plan was for me to be in the passenger seat so that I had more room for my dress.
Technically, I was okay to drive.
No, buzzed driving is drunk driving. So we leave there and people are like applauding as we're leaving. It was so funny. We were supposed to go live and one of the DJ D-Mill, which is a DJ here in the Twin Cities, was on live and we were supposed to party with that and have our streamers up with our balloons and have our lights going, but
we was done.
And they weren't supposed to do it yesterday, but we was done.
Yesterday we was just trying to relax.
Yeah.
Today, like I'm still trying to relax today too, man.
Yeah.
Drink a lot of water and make sure you have time for yourself, man.
Eat.
Make sure you just take a step out and be like, yo, I just need 10 minutes to just be alone. Even if it's like 10 minutes, like you guys together. just take that time to just breathe, man. Breathe and then come back into the group. Take breaks.
Yeah. And eat, because I didn't eat all day. So yeah, but
it was fun.
It hasn't hit me yet that we're married. Honestly, like because we've been together for so long, it kind of feels like an ordinary day.
Yeah. But
it's kind of like I know that you're my husband. Oh, it's so weird.
Right.
You don't have to spend a lot of money. We spent under $2,000, maybe $2,000 on our wedding completely, and that was with gifts and paying. We had a family discount on some stuff, but like. Right. We
even got food for like 30 people, and then there was enough food for people to go back for seconds.
Yeah, there's still food left over.
And the food was great too.
But also, you need to make relationships with people so that you can all work something
Yeah.
out. But yeah, we didn't spend a lot of money.
Yeah,
God flowed through
place.
the whole entire,
Oh,
like the weather was amazing. The sun
yeah.
came when it was supposed to. Everything went so smooth.
Everyone was in a good mood.
Everyone was in a
Your
great
auntie
mood.
was like, "This is like the best wedding I've been to all year."
Yeah, she was. And honestly, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have it any other way.
Yo, thank you for tuning in. I know we've been kind of quiet lately, but
Yeah,
now you guys know why we've been kind of quiet. You know,
I'm planning a
we've
wedding.
been busy, but
Yeah.
we're now that the wedding's done, yo, we're about to hop right back in it and go strong.
Yeah, so stay tuned. We might share some, follow our Instagram. We've been sharing pictures
Yes,
of our
sir.
day, and I've been trying to get some behind the scene photos to put up there on our Vangs page. So if you want all the info, down below.
Pictures here, here, and here.
Oh my gosh, you're so annoying. Okay, bye guys.
Peace. If you guys, everyone in this room did not help out today. So again, just thank you guys for everything. I want to give special shout outs to the people who've been serving, Mitch, Kiki, Terrence, Melissa, Miss Kim, Kayla.
What did Terrence do?
Yeah. Honestly, thank you guys for being here and making this day perfect. Next year we're gonna throw a party and we'll really get drunk and just. Wow.